My dear brothers and sisters, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this session. It is actually a very wonderful day and a great, wonderful period in our country here, Kenya. And I want to say for all of you who have actually tuned in, those that have actually tuned in and maybe it's your first time for you to come across this video, I will actually encourage you to please continue subscribing, so that you can have more of these videos, and also you will be able to understand more about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know there have been so many misconceptions about the church outside, and relatively also in my own country here. I can also see that a lot of people are really grappling with understanding what the church is all about. But I know with the coming in of the temple, a lot of things are really happening, and people are really joining the church. They really want to know what exactly the gospel of Jesus Christ is all about. Now, today is also another wonderful thing that I wanted to share with you what exactly the church has done. And most of the time I've shared what the church has really partnered, and it has partnered with a lot of organizations in supporting different organizations here and there, which is actually, this does demystify what the so-called anti-Mormon propagandists always say, and what they always want to speak something negative about the church. So today I'm really privileged to share with you what exactly the church has done. It has donated some of the assistance to an international African American museum. This was during the Roots Tech. And please, without further ado, let me just invite you so that you can actually have a look. Please welcome.
On behalf of the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I am pleased to announce a $2 million contribution.
A stirring moment of support from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Family Search International, as witnessed by thousands attending Roots Tech 2019, which began its massive 4-day genealogy conference at the Salt Lake City Convention Center, kicking off its first day with a $2 million donation from the church presented by David A. Bednar of the 12.
Michael, we pray that through this donation and the continuing partnership between the church and the International African American Museum, millions and millions of God's children will be blessed with an increased sense of connection, belonging, and purpose.
The funds go toward the completion of the International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina, and doing a world of good as people with African heritage claim their family history.
It's absolutely a day of rejoicing. If I could sing, I would sing, but I can't sing.
Special guests attending the Roots Tech convention and the donation presentation included the museum's CEO, Michael Boulware Moore, and Martin Luther King III.
Because of the technology that exists with the whole program and the fact that the church makes it available is just phenomenal.
It's one thing to talk about unity and brotherhood and sisterhood. I think it's important to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. And today is not about the church, and it's not about the gift that we offer. This is really about the museum and the really important work that they're trying to accomplish.
Oh, this is a major benchmark. I mean, the gift is really transformational. We, because we are connected to the city of Charleston, we actually have to raise 100% of the money before we can break ground.
When completed, the museum in Charleston, South Carolina will house 40,000 square feet of artifacts, displays, educational attractions, and an ever-expanding genealogical database that visitors can access within the museum's Center for Family History.
I think when people understand and know their history and heritage, their genealogy, there's no telling where it's going to lead. I mean, it's unlimited in terms of what can happen because of what this museum will represent.
So, my dear brothers and sisters, you can see what exactly the church is doing, and especially to the African American people. You can see what exactly the church is doing. It's really recognizing what the African Americans have actually gone through. And building that museum in ensuring that the heritage of the African American history is actually preserved in those museums so that people can understand what exactly their history really entails. And you could see there was Dr. Martin Luther King III, who was there also at the root stake, which was actually very profound. And you can see what the church has done. The church has actually donated over 2 million US dollars. That is about, I'll calculate that later in my currency so that I get to know what exactly the church has really donated. But I think in my currency it will be over billions and billions of shillings. And you can imagine what exactly the church is doing to the African Americans. Now, will you tell me this is actually a racist church? You know, at times, that's why I said in the earliest video, when somebody speaks of racism and trying to point fingers to the church, that the church is racist, they actually do not understand what they are talking about. Because, you know, show me some evidence. Okay, show me some evidence. Like, look at what the church is doing now. You know, look at what the church is doing now. And it really revers the heritage of the African American people, and they understand what African Americans have actually gone through. And that is one way of ensuring that actually their history does not disappear, by supporting building a museum so that anyone who wants to understand the heritage and the history of the African American people, they can actually visit the museum. And that is, the church is actually showing solidarity with them, you know, in ensuring that this vision and this goal is actually, you know, achieved. And I like that. And I like that because this is what the gospel of Jesus Christ is all about. It's not about, you know, lamenting. It's not about racism. It's not about whatever. But it is about loving the children of God and showing solidarity by actually acting, just like the way Elder Bednar there has said. It's about acting, doing exactly what the Lord requires of you. And I know this is actually true for the African Americans there. This is actually a blessing, a serious blessing, and especially having that museum, because it is something that it will attract a lot of people all over the world wanting to know what exactly really happened. And one of the things a friend of mine has just shared with me, that the prophet Joseph Smith actually was one of the defenders of the slaves. He was actually a serious defender of the slaves. And at times, during those days when slaves will have problems with their masters, the place that they will always want to run to, it is at the prophet's home. That is Joseph Smith's home. And I think that is also one of the factor that led to as to why members of the church were actually, you know, persecuted, you know, because they were embracing those who were actually, you know, those who were actually discriminated in the society as at that time. And Joseph Smith stood by them, and he taught a lot of things, and he ensured and he enlightened people that we are as children of God, and we are all created in the image of God. And most of the slaves will run to him. You know, when they will have problems with their masters, they will run to him. And this is one of the deepest history that the church has with the African Americans or the descendants of slaves. You know, the church has a deep history, because one thing is that the church was actually advocating for their rights. You know, church was actually advocating for their rights. And I know this is actually true. And I know the Lord is actually now revealing things so that we may be able to understand what exactly our part is as members of the church. What part or what role are we supposed to play in the society? And I know this is true. Otherwise, thank you very much, my dear brothers and sisters. And I'm looking forward to see you again next time. Ciao.